Hi, I'm Arlen Geyer, and I am here today to talk about digital noise. There is a misconception in some circles that digital noise only occurs under certain circumstances. Well, I'm here to dispel that myth. I'm going to start with a photograph of country singer Kathy Mattea. This was shot with a Canon 5D Mark II at ISO 100. You can see right over here. And this camera has a large sensor, and large sensor cameras tend to have less noise than smaller sensors. But if we zoom in, and we're right now, you can see up in the upper left, we're at 3:1 zoom level. And if you find a fairly uniform area, lo and behold, you can see some noise in here. I'm going to click over on the this darker area, and you can see the noise. I can exaggerate it if I go into develop and just increase the contrast a bit, and then maybe increase the brightness so you can see there, noise. So unquestionably there is noise in this image. So definitely digital noise there. Let's restore this back to its pristine previous condition. We go to history here, and before I did all of that stuff, yeah, that should do it. And we go back to here. And there's Kathy. Okay. Digital noise is partially a function of sensor size. So here is a shot that was done with a slightly smaller sensor camera, and also let's see, this is on a Canon 40D, and again at a low ISO. And if we zoom in on this, again, digital noise. You see a bit more noise than we had on the other one, because it's a smaller sensor and therefore more noise. Now, noise is also a function of ISO. So here is a photograph of North Carolina storyteller Sheila K. Adams that was shot at ISO, I believe it was 6400. So that's ISO 6400. And so if we zoom in on this one, and let's go to an area that you see much more noise. And then we can also look at one that is even a smaller sensor, this one of Celtic guitarist Robin Bullock. And this was shot at a high ISO, ISO 800, but with a small sensor camera. This was shot with a Canon G11 point-and-shoot camera. Now if we zoom in on this one, you see it's even worse. And that's because it's a smaller sensor. Now finally, noise is also more present if an image is underexposed. And so if we look at this one, which is underexposed, and we'll look up at a face here, and if we move this, actually if we go into develop and increase the exposure to where it's more appropriately exposed, you see even more noise. And there's what that looks like with more exposure, but more noise as well. So digital noise is always there. The smaller the sensor, the worse the noise. The higher the ISO, the worse the noise. And underexposed images will tend to produce more noise. And that's basically the bottom line on digital noise. Thank you.